Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Gauff reaches last 8 at Cincinnati Open. World number 2 Coco Gauff beat Lucia Bronzetti 6-2, 6-4 to book her place in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Open. The two players had progressed to the last 16 in contrasting ways, with Gauff having won her only match in straight sets before a walkover against Diana Yastremska in last round. Bronzetti, on the other hand, had come through in 3 sets in her previous 3 rounds, and the world number 61 quickly found herself 3-0 down. Gauff was broken in the 5th game, but it proved a brief blip as she went on to win the opening set in 33 minutes. The American went 2-0 up in the 2nd set, but suffered another lapse when she was broken to love by the Italian in the 3rd game. Bronzetti raised her game and had a breakpoint at 2-2, only to send a backhand return long as Gauff managed to hold. The 2nd set was a more competitive affair, but Bronzetti double-faulted twice when serving to stay in the match, and Gauff went on to break and secure victory. "For the most part, one played aggressive," said Gauff, who won the Cincinnati Open in 2023 before going on to win the U.S. Open that year. "Maybe there were a couple that were a little bit passive in some of those games, but it's tough. The balls are super light, and she wasn't giving me much pace. I was just trying to play controlled but also aggressive, and for the most part, I think I did well." Gauff will play the winner of the match between Italian Jasmine Paolini and Barbara Krejcikova of the Czech Republic in the next round. Gauff reaches last 8 at Cincinnati Open, a star ascending in her element. Cincinnati, Ohio. Under a sky that danced between the warm glow of August sun and the murmuring threat of rain, Coco Gauff stepped onto center court at the Cincinnati Open like a young queen returning to her rightful throne. She wasn't just playing tennis. She was playing destiny. At just 21 years old, Gauff has become more than an athlete. She's a symbol of grit, of change, of what it means to grow up under pressure and rise not in spite of it, but because of it. And this week in Cincinnati, her march into the quarterfinals only underscored that truth. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The match that mattered. Her opponent in the round of 16 was no pushover, a seasoned top 20 player known for fierce baseline rallies and tactical depth. The kind of opponent designed to test every ounce of a rising star's mental and physical resilience. But Gauff, seated 5th in the tournament and coming off a strong hard-court swing, came prepared. From the first serve, the intent was clear: dominate early, dictate pace, and silence doubt before it could whisper. She moved like poetry, swift, fluid, and full of controlled chaos. Her forehand, once considered a vulnerability, cracked with newfound precision. Her serve, topping out at 120 miles per hour, was a cannon, not just for aces, but for setting the rhythm of the rally. And her backhand, as lethal as ever. The match unfolded in 2 tightly contested sets, 7-5, 6-3, each point a lesson in composure. When her opponent threatened to break late in the first set, Gauff calmly delivered back-to-back winners, holding serve with the poise of a veteran. In the second, she surged ahead early and never looked back. With the final ball struck and the handshake at the net complete, the crowd erupted, not just in appreciation of victory, but of evolution. More than tennis. What makes Gauff's run in Cincinnati special isn't just the tennis, it's the timing. Just a year ago, she was still fighting to find consistency, her powerful game sometimes stalling under the weight of expectation. Critics questioned whether she could handle the mental grind of the tour. Would she fade like so many teenage prodigies before her? But Gauff never listened to the noise. Instead, she got to work. She rebuilt, refined her serve, tightened her footwork. She took hits, early round losses, media pressure, and turned them into fuel. She added new members to her coaching team, leaned into fitness, and, perhaps most importantly, found joy in the grind again. Now, in Cincinnati, that work is bearing fruit. "I've learned not to chase perfection, but progress," Gauff said in her post-match interview, sweat glistening on her brow, joy in her voice. "Each match is a chapter, and I'm just trying to write a good story." The energy of home soil. Cincinnati isn't technically her hometown, but the atmosphere might have fooled you. American flags dotted the stands. "Let's go, Coco." Chants rippled like waves between points. Little girls with braids and bright eyes leaned over the rails with posters and pens, hoping for even a glance from their hero. There's something about playing on home soil that brings out the fire in Gauff. The crowd, the culture, the responsibility. It's like she channels it all into a force that lifts her when matches get tight. She's not just playing for herself. She's playing for every kid who dared to dream with a racket in their hand. For every young woman told to wait her turn. For every black girl who sees herself in Coco's shoes and thinks, why not me? The road ahead. With her ticket to the last 8 punched, Gauff now faces a tougher gauntlet ahead. The field narrows, the margins shrink, and the pressure mounts. Her next opponent could be a former Grand Slam champion, someone who's been here, done this, and knows exactly how to unravel a rising star. But Gauff isn't the same player she was even 6 months ago. She's learned how to navigate the small moments, the 30 to 30 points, the breakpoint saves, the mid-set momentum swings. Her mental game, often overshadowed by her athleticism, has grown sharper than ever. She's becoming scary good, said one commentator. It's not just the talent anymore. It's the presence. That presence will be tested. And if history is any indicator, that's exactly when Gauff shines brightest. Legacy in motion. It's easy to forget how young she still is. At 21, most players are just beginning to find their rhythm. For Gauff, she's already played on center court at Wimbledon, lifted trophies, faced Serena, and become a voice beyond the court on issues that matter. And yet, in Cincinnati this week, she plays like someone just getting started. There's hunger in her eyes. Not for headlines, not even for trophies, but for mastery. You can see it in the way she hits the extra practice balls after win, the way she replays points in her head as she walks off court, the way she speaks not of dominating now, but evolving always. A city, a stage, a spark. Cincinnati has long been a stage where future champions begin to flex their potential. For years, it's been the scene of breakthrough performances from legends in the making. This year, the script may be writing itself again. Coco Gauff is through to the last 8. And if her performance so far is any indication, she's not just here to participate. She's here to take over. Win or lose in the next round, one thing is certain. Tennis is witnessing the rise of something rare. The Cincinnati sun burned bright, casting golden light over the Linder Family Tennis Center, where the thump of tennis balls echoed like drumbeats of destiny. Among the swirling heat and noise, one name rose above the crowd's excited murmur, Coco Gauff. Only 21, but with the poise of a seasoned champion, Gauff had become more than a tennis star. She was a symbol of a new era. And today, as she punched her ticket into the last 8 of the Cincinnati Open, the crowd roared not just for the win, but for the story being written in real time. Chapter 1. A different kind of pressure. Coco sat courtside after her straight sets win against the world number 10. Sweat dripped from her brow, but her eyes sparkled with fire. This was not just another tournament, it was home. Well, close enough. Cincinnati was where she'd grown into her game, in a way. The hard courts here had been her battleground in juniors, and now they served as the stage for her next act. But behind the spotlight was a pressure most fans couldn't see. Quarterfinals, her coach said, handing her a bottle of electrolyte water. You're playing like you've been here 100 times. I've been watching this tournament 100 times, Coco smirked. It feels different being the one people come to see. She wasn't wrong. Every seat in the stadium had filled up by the time her match began. Teenagers wore her signature headband. Little girls clutched neon signs that read Gauff Power. And somewhere in the VIP box, a retired tennis legend whispered to her companion, "She's got the stuff of greatness. Real greatness." Chapter 2. Shadows of the Past. Coco's path to the quarterfinals hadn't been smooth. In the second round, she had faced a gritty veteran, one of those players who didn't care about age or ranking. A brutal 3-set grind had tested Gauff's nerve. She saved 5 breakpoints in the final set, her serve faltering one moment, firing like lightning the next. It reminded her of the 2022 season, where inconsistency haunted her more than any opponent. But this year, she had come in different. Stronger, sharper, smarter. "You've grown," her mother told her on the phone the night before the quarters. not just as a player. You're a storm now, powerful, but controlled. That stayed with her. A storm. Not just wild energy, but focused force. Chapter 3. More than just tennis. The Cincinnati Open wasn't only about tennis. Gauff had used her platform here more than once to speak. On equality, on youth voices, on the balance between sport and life. Between matches, she visited a local high school, where she spoke to a room of eager teenagers. She talked not just about forehands and backhands, but about confidence. Winning is cool, she told them. But believing in yourself when nobody else does? That's real power. A girl in the front row raised her hand. What do you do when you feel like giving up? Gauff paused. I remember why I started. Chapter 4. The match that lit the fire. In the round of 16, she faced a player known for baseline aggression and icy demeanor. The kind of opponent who could slice away rhythm like a sculptor carves stone. The first few games were brutal. Coco's usual power shots met a wall. The first set slipped from her grasp, 4-6. But then came the second set, and something clicked. Coco shifted gears. Less pace, more angle. She started drawing her opponent out, then unleashing winners down the line with surgical precision. The crowd felt it. The rhythm changed. Like a jazz solo taking over from a classical melody. Chaos, then control. She won the second set 6-3. The third set? A masterclass. She was in the zone. Gauff dropped just one game, her roar after each point echoing like thunder across the hard court. When the final point landed wide, she dropped to one knee and looked up to the sky. Just for a moment. Quarterfinals. And this time, she earned it. Chapter 5. Legends whisper her name. As she left the court, a reporter caught her for a quick quote. You're in the last 8, Coco. Thoughts? She smiled, brushing sweat-soaked curls from her forehead. I'm not finished. That was all. In the press room, a former Grand Slam champion tweeted, Gauff is the future and the present. Chapter 6. The city belongs to her now. Cincinnati embraced her like a hometown hero. Murals popped up on sidewalks overnight. Fans lined up at dawn for a glimpse of her practice sessions. She played with joy, but her eyes stayed sharp. The quarterfinal loomed, and with it, a clash against the reigning Wimbledon champion. But Gauff didn't fear the moment anymore. This wasn't the same girl who bowed out in early rounds 3 years ago. This was the Gauff who'd battled legends, who'd faced pressure head-on, who had become the heartbeat of American tennis. Epilogue, the court awaits. In the cool evening before her next match, Gauff stood on center court under the lights. Empty seats stared back, but she imagined them full, felt their energy in her bones. She bounced a tennis ball in her palm, stared across the net at the silence, and smiled. Whatever came next, win or lose, she had already made her mark. But something in her heart whispered, it's not enough just to reach the last 8. You were born for finals. And with that, she turned, left the court, and walked into the night. Tomorrow, the fight would begin again. And Coco Gauff would be ready.